Hi guys, Joe here. We're back with another video today. Today we're going to be discussing my truck that I picked up in February of 2021. It is a 2007 Chevy Silverado Classic. It has the stripped down configuration and it has no bells and whistles whatsoever. This truck is the 4.3 liter V6. It has crank windows, cloth interior, single cab, two-wheel drive. It is the bare bones work truck, and that is why I absolutely love it and feel it was one of the best purchases I've ever made. So I got the truck in February of 2021 and it had 161,000 miles on it. I went and looked at it in the evening. The paint looked to be in good shape, no body issues whatsoever, and I took it for a test drive. Brakes felt good, transmission shift smooth. Engine ran great, and it looked to be, maintained and cared for pretty well. It was a New England truck. It had some rust. The fenders had slight rot on the rear, the rear two fenders, but it was something that I felt like I could work with, and I got it for a price that was good enough for what I wanted. And it wasn't a show truck. It's just to run things to the city yard, to move things around. I have a lot of construction things, I have a lot of landscaping things and toys and that type of thing that I wanted to be able to move, and that's why I got it, as well as keep miles off of my nicer car that I can now keep from the crazy winters and only use it when I really want to. I wanted to go through the cost of ownership and all of the problems that I've ran into for the year and a half that I've had this truck. And to be completely honest, it hasn't been too bad. There was a wheel bearing that actually went bad in the front. I had to take off the passenger side front wheel. I had to remove the hub and replace the wheel hub with one that I sourced on Amazon, so that wasn't too bad of a job. I also had a brake line, and as many of you know, the Chevys are notorious for having the brake lines rot out, eventually rust to the point where they need to be replaced. When I went underneath the vehicle, I noticed that the one going to the driver's side front as well as the rear brakes was replaced before, so the one that was leaking for me was the passenger side front. I was able to bend some new line in, flare the connections and connect it, and now the brakes are completely fine. As for the interior, I did have a few things break there. There is the climate control resistor, which controls the fan speed. I never had fan speed 1 and then I lost fan speed 3, so a resistor had to be replaced in order to get the climate control working properly. I do have an intermittent check engine light, but I believe that is due to the thermostat being stuck open. I had acquired a new thermostat and I plan to install that. When I read the temperature, it says that the engine temperature is lower than the expected temp, so the vehicle isn't warming up or reaching temperature fast enough, and that's why it's triggering that check engine light. Also, I had the climate control heat to air conditioning vent flap module or solenoid die. So it was a warm day in June. I went to put the AC on, and then the climate control to the hot to cold was no longer working. I had to just temporarily remove the blend door and turn it to cold and put it back in until I got a new blend door. That was a simple fix. I could get the blend door actuator on Amazon, so that wasn't a huge deal either. As far as maintenance goes, the truck does have a lot of miles on it. It now has 173,000. Like I said, I got it with 161,000. No mechanical issues, no transmission slippage, no ticking from the engine, no smoke, and it drives very nicely. So typical maintenance things there: engine oil, keeping up with that, changing the power steering fluid, changing the coolant. I did not know the current state of the transmission fluid. I did check it though. It looked cherry red, so I figured that I would leave that alone at this mileage, since I don't know the history. If I do change it, it could slip. But there are additives such as the Lucas anti-slip that I could put in there as well, and kind of see if that solved any problems that I did have. I replaced the spark plugs. The serpentine belt needs to be replaced as well. But overall, the truck shifts happily, it drives very smooth, it's not a loud motor, it gets good fuel economy, and so far I've been really happy with it for the amount of money that I paid for it. I plan on keeping this truck for a while. Many people ask me to sell it. I say, a little bit of a ridiculous price to see if they bite. Obviously, they don't want to follow through with it, but for me, it is the perfect truck. It's not too big. It gets the job done, and it really helps me out day to day. Fortunately, or unfortunately for some, there are a lot of these trucks in scrap yards and junk yards, so if you ever need anything, I was missing a rear bumper trim piece. I went to a local scrap yard and I was able to find a trim piece that I pulled off and popped onto my truck as well. I was able to source a nice set of 2017 Chevrolet 1500 wheels with decent tires, and I sold the stock wheels that came with the truck and put those nicer looking wheels on. After giving the paint a nice clay bar and waxing it and polishing up the truck really good, it looks really nice, and for a 15-year-old truck, it looks fantastic. So those are the things that I had to replace in a year and a half of ownership. Still worth it. I like working on things when they break, and overall I feel like this truck has been very reliable. I'm not hesitant to take it on long drives, even though it has 173,000 miles on it. But let me know in the comments how you feel, if you have a similar one, if you have the V8 version, and if you have any overall questions for me into how my experience has gone with my V6 Chevy Silverado 2007 short bed single cab truck. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye now.